The last stand at gate. The year is 202 BC and the place is Gates. The cold wind howled across the battlefield as Xiang Yu, the once undefeated hegemon king of Western Sika, stood atop a hill, surveying his dwindling forces. His army, which only days before had been a raging tidal wave of conquest, was now reduced to a mere few thousand men, surrounded on all sides by the vast armies of Liu Bang. For 3 years, Xiang Yu had led his army across the war-torn Qin and Xiangyu states, crushing rebellions and subjugating entire regions under the might of his war elephant cavalry. Kings and generals alike cowered before him, yet here he was, trapped like a rat in a cage of his own making. Xiang Yu clenched his fists, his mind replaying past victories, the Battle of Julu where he crushed the Qin army, the time he could have killed Liu Bang at the feast at Hong Gate, but spared him out of pride. Now Liu Bang, that cunning peasant turned king, had outmaneuvered him at every turn, allying with former enemies, promising rewards, arming rebel lords, letting Xiang Yu's arrogance isolate him. Suddenly, a familiar figure emerged from the chaos of the battlefield. Xiang Yu's beloved consort, Yu, her red lips pale, her eyes filled with worry, staggered up the hill. She knelt before him, her voice trembling. "My lord, the Han soldiers sing songs of our homeland. They offer us fine wine and delicacies, mocking us to surrender. Our men are losing heart." Xiang Yu slowly turned, his pride warring with despair as he looked at his decimated army. How did it come to this? He, Xiang Yu, who had broken kings and shattered armies, was now reduced to leading a handful of troops in a futile last stand against the rising sun. Meanwhile, in the Han camp, a great feast was taking place. Liu Bang, the Dragon Emperor, sat at the head of a long table laden with delicacies from across the land. His generals and advisors caroused, celebrating their imminent victory. Zhang Liang, Liu Bang's wise and cunning strategist, raised a cup to the tiger of Xiangyu. He said, "Xiang, you fight like a tiger, but a tiger alone cannot defeat a pack of wolves." Liu Bang smiled, his eyes gleaming with triumph. The tiger had indeed fought like one, but its roars had grown weaker with each passing day. And soon, very soon, it would be finished. As the night wore on, the revelry continued, each song, each dance bringing them one step closer to total victory. At the break of dawn, Xiang Yu mounted his weary war horse. There was no hope of escape, no one last glorious stand. Maybe that was how history would remember him. With a mighty roar, he charged into the Han ranks, his spear flashing like lightning, his war elephant trampling all in its path. For a moment, it seemed as though the tide was turning, that the Xiangyu might yet prevail. But as quickly as it began, it was over. Men fell all around him, but none of them were his. Wounded and exhausted, Xiang Yu reached the Wu River. A lone boatman, seeing his plight, offered to help. "Live, my lord. Return to Zhongdong and rise again." Xiang Yu looked at the man, then back at the battlefield. How could he face his people after such defeat? He turned his horse, fought one last glorious stand against the Han cavalry, and fell. When Liu Bang heard of Xiang Yu's death, he sighed. The Dragon Emperor knew that Xiang Yu had been a true warrior, perhaps the greatest he had ever seen. But the world they lived in needed a ruler not a conqueror. With Xiang Yu, he, Liu Bang, Emperor Gaozu of Han, was free to rule. His dynasty would last 400 years. And so the age of Han began. But that is a story for another time.